Hi, I'm Greta Bhatia Villagran. I'm the CEO and founder of Pinary.
Yeah, hello, Greta. Welcome here to SAP headquarters. My name is Christian Stadler, and I'm working as a product manager responsible for all the international trade portfolio inside the SAP house.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you for this opportunity. In 2024, many companies approached us with similar questions about GTS Edition for HANA. While SAP has published extensive content about Edition for HANA, there still seems to be a lot of misinformation and confusion about this topic. So I think it's very valuable answers directly from you in this platform. So thank you, Christian, for your time to have this conversation with us. So the most basic question that I would like to ask you, and there's still confusion about this, is what is the difference between S4HANA and GTS Edition for HANA?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And yes, we hear very similar things, that there's a little bit confusion around terminology. Let's try to sort that out in the beginning. So at the end, there is no real difference on that one. Yeah. So SAP has the core cloud ERP solution, which is called S4HANA. And SAP also offers SAP Global Trade Services as the flagship solution to cover international trade functionalities like trade compliance, like customs management and processes of origin management. And both are seamlessly working together. And that is the benefit of both solutions. And all that is what we call international trade management portfolio. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's at the end one thing, that it's working perfectly together. And just one last word perhaps on HANA, as it is in both product names commingled. S4HANA is our core ERP system, and SAP Global Trade Services Edition for SAP HANA is our global trade solution that sits on the HANA database stack and can be even co-deployed with the solution. So it's the extension of adding foreign trade capabilities into the core ERP system.
I see. So both have HANA database, hence the confusion.
Yes.
But they're different products.
Yes.
S4HANA is for logistics and finance and other core solutions, whereas Global Trade GTS is specifically for global trade services, for export, import, international trade. And that actually then leads us to the next question, the international trade words. So you mentioned that S4 and GTS are the international management, you can say, solution together. Now, S4HANA consists of international trade, which is the new foreign trade. And then SAP GTS is a separate bolt-on to S4HANA. So the question that many companies ask is, if they have international trade, why do they need GTS?
Yeah, so thanks for that question. So why do you need GTS if you have already an S4HANA system and you're operating already globally, doing exports and imports every day? Because of automation, and it's all running together. So you can run an S4 system with core international trade capabilities to foster your compliance, checking licenses and do a classification that you need for your license printing or for your export processes. But if you want to go for a full-fledged automated solution, also managing foreign trade processes that allows you to really save a lot of money, like managing free trade agreements or operating in free trade zones in the United States, or operating in processing in Europe, or in processing trade in China, then you need a high sophisticated, deep and automated solution, and that functionality is all offered inside the SAP Global Trade Services solution.
So those functionalities are not available in international trade?
These functionalities are available as part of S4HANA, and they are deeply integrated in S4HANA International Trade. So all the hooks in the various processes that are needed to run, you have the sales, you have the purchasing side of the house, all have to be brought together when you're operating globally. This is part of international trade functionality scope in S4HANA itself. And these hooks are needed to integrate into your global trade services solution, which is SAP GTS, to then run these full-fledged processes and to get all these savings and optimizations that you need to run your global business.
Is it fair to say that somewhat a company is also, they're utilizing international trade partially and GTS at the same time because of the hooks? But they do not need, just to clarify, that they do not need international trade full implementation and GTS full implementation. Would that be redundant, or do companies also do that?
That it depends. So we have companies running our solution in all sizes. Yeah, we have companies running that with one central ERP system, having one global trade solution. But we also have multinational companies. They have many SAP solutions in-house. Some of them are running in a SaaS world. Others are running in a classic deployment mode. Some of them are still kind of legacy systems, so even non-SAP systems, and they have the need to run in a global trade platform. And this all is covered by global trade services. It is the global trade service platform to run your global businesses. And international trade capabilities like core compliance and classification can be operated then inside their legacy systems and S4 systems. And the extended capabilities typically these type of companies needs, like export processing, free trade zones and free trade agreements, these are then operated on the global trade services global hub, on GTS. So they can run together. Yeah. They typically run together. And then it depends really on the need of the company and on the need of their individual business organization or business unit. Also, which functionality they need to leverage in which business unit. So perhaps some of them, if they know, as an example, I have no license requirements because my product portfolio is simply an easy one, or I only have suppliers in my country. So I don't have these high compliance needs, then of course, you can reduce your risk coverage. And that is the job of a typical compliance manager and a risk manager in the companies located in the finance organizations, that he has to exactly balance the need of compliance and the need of automation. And all of that is offered inside the SAP International Trade portfolio as all in S4, but also in the addition with SAP Global Trade Services.
Now, since we're talking about international trade and GTS, we should also touch upon a topic that also causes a lot of confusion with the users. And that is, what is the difference between watchlist screening and sanctioned party list screening?
SAP Watchlist Screening and the Sanctioned Party List screening functionality that is part of the SAP Global Trade Services product. So at first there are two products. SAP Global Trade Services is there since 25 years in the market. So we have the first decade of the century passed, and that is our screening solution that is typically run by most of our current users and companies. With SAP Watchlist Screening, we have started a lightweight cloud-based screening solution, which has a complete different pricing and also setup. So it runs as a service. Content is core part of this solution, which is automatically updated. So all pains that companies have to put additional burden on top of their daily processes, they don't need to take care of anymore.
When you say content for watchlist screening as well, they need to purchase the content from a data provider?
Yes, so here we have a very similar approach like we have with SAP GTS. We have collaborating here with content providers, because we have a clear multi-provider strategy, because we know content is key of your success and of your compliance. And we see that content has different focuses on regions. And we see providers with specialized focus on various regions. And that's why we have here an open mindset, so that companies can choose the best provider they want to work with, and they want to collaborate on the SLAs, on the time of provisioning the content, of the data quality, and that is what we are following here. And that is also similar to our screening capabilities. For SAP Watchlist Screening, as of today, we are focusing on one because of the simplicity of the solution we want to offer. And when we are talking about sanctions especially, and the direct sanctions, then we also see that content is not the differentiator at the end. The differentiator is the time of provisioning of the content, because the content itself is provided by governments and it's identical.
Correct.
So there is no real differentiation, what I mentioned in the all other contexts, like we have with free trade agreement content, with rules, where we have the HTS and the duty rate and the measures and the partnering government agencies and all that specialized content, which is always regional and national. And there we see the need for our companies also to collaborate with many providers instead of one.
Now, since you mentioned HTS, so that takes us to our next topic, and this question also comes up quite a bit, where for companies that are utilizing SAP GTS, fully utilizing SAP GTS, and they want to transfer the tariff codes from GTS to S4 or ECC. Let's say S4, because we want to talk about international trade. So if they transfer the tariff codes to S4, does that require them to activate international trade to receive the tariff code from GTS? Or does that not require activating international trade in S4?
So the usage of tariff codes in your S4HANA core processes, I think that is the question. The need for having a classification inside your cloud ERP core is because you need to do, in some countries, printing HTS or commodity codes on invoices. And it's in case of your European business that you do a proper Intrastat reporting capabilities or statistical reporting capabilities. So there's the need to have your products always classified in your core system. So the functionality of classification can be operated in S4 Core in a very simplified, easy to consume way, or you can use the SAP Global Trade Services as a mature foreign trade system that supports you in your classification process, even supported with automation and even coming with AI capabilities. And I think so it's always important to focus on what is the need instead of the technology question. And the need is that you do a proper printing of your HTS code in your export business mainly. And therefore you have the possibility, doesn't matter in which setup you're running the system, that you can classify in your global trade services solution and have then the data available, or you classify in your S4 solution, or you classify in even non-SAP solutions, but at the end you have to have it integrated and embedded in your sales process, and that is all covered with our overall solution.
But does it require for a company using product classification in GTS, and they transfer the tariff codes to S4, does it require them to utilize international trade just for that piece?
About the activation of functionalities in S4, so international trade functionalities in S4, like classification or compliance, then of course you only need to activate what you're looking for. In case of the classification process, because that is a core part of S4HANA, there is no need of classification. There is no need for activation. And there is a need of activation when you're talking about the license management functionality. Then you can configure the system in a way that you set up this functionality and make it available for this country where you wanna use your license processes. Use it in your US subsidiaries or in your Canadian subsidiaries only. And then there is this activation procedure. It's like a switch where you can decide I want to switch it on or off, and that is how you can control the usage of the various functionalities.
And another big topic that comes up quite often is, how do companies decide They want to know the recommendation when it comes to Intrastat. If they have GTS, should they use GTS for Intrastat? Or should they implement in S4? Because Intrastat is run and managed by finance team. And usually finance team does not have access to GTS. So this question comes up quite a bit, actually finance controlling, that what does SAP recommend? What is the best strategy? Intrastat in GTS or Intrastat in S4?
Mm-hmm. What is the best strategy, or what is the decision points if you have to decide to use functionality in one solution or in another solution? That's always a big question, and there is no recommendation because we have two solutions, and there's a reason why there are two solutions available. And at the end, it's really about the company's business and the company's organizational setup, where it's the best way to use. And these pros and cons needs to be really rated and discussed internally, or with some well experienced solution providers, to come to right decision. Yeah? If you want to have one global hub system to have global visibility, of course, it is considerable to put it into the global trade services, which runs as a global hub. Mm-hmm. If you have already a core global ERP system, of course, that is also capable to serve this need.
Intrastat, yeah.
To serve this need for Intrastat reportings. Yeah. So at the end, it's really up to the company. The functionality has a complete feature parity. The reporting sets into the countries are always up to date. So the content updates and the legal updates are provided for all of the solutions until end of maintenance, as you know, with SAP always. And that's why there is no clear recommendation, but we have a choice, and I think we can cover all the needs of the various customers we have.
Mm-hmm. And neither, if there is no recommendation, there is also not, and I'm asking this because I want people to hear this from you, there is also not a negative impact on to decide whether they choose S4 or GTS. It's really an internal decision, like you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Based on their resources and the need. There's no negative or a positive.
There is no negative impact.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We said no pros and cons about international trade.
No pros and cons about international trade. Yeah. So that's attached a little bit there. So we quite often hear the question: what is the pro for running some of the services in the S4 core in international trade compared to functionalities operated in SAP Global Trade Services? I think we have here a situation again where we cannot recommend, and we don't want to recommend, because we offer both, and it's really about the need of the company, and they can start small, especially in the context of S4HANA transformation projects. I think it's worth considering the core functionality that resides and sits in S4HANA itself, and then you can expand when you grow into global trade services. If you have the need for more sophisticated automation and processes, then you can extend to SAP Global Trade Services. And I think with these both together, it's at the end the process must flow. It's an end-to-end process, and foreign trade is always part of. It's never stands alone. And that is same with our solutions. They have to run together. It's our international trade portfolio. And the huge benefit, I think, that we offer as SAP is this deep integration. At the end, you can switch it on and switch it off, but you don't have the need to do big integration projects and to make it run. It's out of the box. It's seamlessly running from purchasing to production to selling, and I think that is one of the key benefits that we have. Because we have international trade in the core, and we have SAP Global Trade Services as the flagship offered to operate your international businesses.
Okay, and then if you can say something about Pinary.
About Pinary and our long-term collaboration. So I'm really looking forward to continue our collaboration with you as one of our very experienced implementation partners. Happy that I've seen you expanding also to the European market. and you're key to our customer success. Like also the other partners we have a huge ecosystem, and you're an important part of that one. And all that is also, I think, a huge value of SAP at all, that this wonderful ecosystem, and with these experienced solution implementers like you are with Pinary, and the services that you deliver to our customers, I think that is one of the recipes why we are successful, and why we are still growing into the market. And with that, I'm really looking forward into the future. Whatever will come and whatever craziness outside the world will hit us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Greta, for the interview.
Thank you.